Hello, I'm Steve. Welcome to the Patio Heat channel, where we provide visual concepts of infrared heating as well as tips for outdoor comfort. Send your request into designs@patioheat.com for your personalized recommendations. Our one-on-one customer support helps you make the best decisions for your applications. We strive to earn your business. Visit our patioheat.com website for sales and more information. Now let's get heating. All right, so here we have this residential application, and as it sits right here is the existing application. There are going to be some changes. One change is they're going to be adding a fan in the center of the area, as well as they are going to be adding some polycarbonate roofing on top, as well as some screened-in sections here and here. I did add a couple of extra these cross beams here, just because of the fact I'm assuming that they're going to add that for the support of the polycarbonate roofing material. So just bear that in mind. You can see that I did have them originally shaped as it was, and then here is what I have for right now. So let's go right into the overall dimensions. So these overall dimensions are going to be very critical in this particular application. So number one, I have a 6-foot diameter fan. Now I received the information in reference to the fan, and that fan, the directions or information I received was that this was a PVC style of fan blade, and that is considered combustible. So this combustible area here is going to be very critical as far as whether or not the placement of the heaters that I'm going to recommend will fit properly or not. Okay, so let's go back into these overall dimensions, and this again is the critical aspect of the overall dimensions. So first of all, let's look at this. I have a 10 inch by 6 inch beam going across. That's true with all of these 5 beams here. And then I have them centered to center at 3 foot 7 and 3/16 of an inch, which gives me an opening of 3 foot 1 and 3/16 of an inch. So that's going to be a critical aspect of whether or not this is going to fit in regards to clearances to combustible material. So here's another dimension that we have: the opening from this edge here, where this beam runs across to the wall itself. I have at 17 feet 6 inches. The overall distance I have at 18 feet, and then 18 feet over here. The height of the bottom of these beams going across here I have at 9 feet, and I'm supposing that these are going to be level, so that's very important as well. And I think that is about it. You can see where I have the starting point here at 3 feet 4 and 3/16 from this wall to the center of this first beam here. So this is all kind of critical information, and even knowing the trim above the window here, you can see I have at 1 inch. It might be a 1/2 inch trim, but this might also be an issue with regards to clearances. That's how tight it's going to be on this particular application. So let's go ahead and turn that off and go ahead and look at what heaters I would recommend. So I'm just going to make one basic recommendation here, and let's see here. That recommendation is going to be utilizing the 6,000 watt units. So this 10-inch beam is going to be a kind of a question mark as far as the height, because I believe it's 9 inches from the bottom edge here to the top of the bracket here. You're going to have to double check that verification, but there's definitely 6 inches of clearance that you need all around the heater. Let's go ahead and turn that clearance on. So the clearance above is 6 inches, and then all the way to the edge is 6 inches here. So I have this edge to this edge of the heater at 6 inches. Now we need to have the bottom edge of the heater at the exact same location, or height rather, elevation as the bottom of the beam. So that's a very critical aspect as well. And then you can see here and I should go back here and show you that we have a total of 4 6,000 watt units. These are dual element units. They are 6,000 watt, 240 volts, 20 amps a piece. So that's something that you need to make sure that you have enough power in order to utilize that. Another thing is this particular client had mentioned that they are looking at the use of a controls panel, and that is why I'm including the 6,000 watt units. That way they can reduce the amount of heat as they feel necessary for those particular times. When you lower the screen and slow down the air movement within the application, then you will need to reduce the amount of heat output on each one of the units in order to make that the most comfortable for anyone sitting out in this patio here. Now I just have it as just a typical reclining area that could be a dining space, but as long as it's not bar stool seating height, then this application will be acceptable for dining and or reclining. So just bear that in mind. And let's go ahead and look at the clearances below the heater. I'm going to turn off the top clearances. So over here too, I should just mention 6 inches of clearance from this edge here to the beam, and 6 inches from the top to the we're going to go with the bottom edge of the heater at the same elevation as the bottom edge of these beams here. So this is 10 inch, and our brackets, you're going to have to manipulate these brackets somehow in order to make that feasible. Maybe add in a little piece of extended piece of metal down here, drill a new hole, something of that nature to get it just where you're looking for that height. Now they do have a 2-inch extension bracket, and if I'm not mistaken, what I have here is just about 1 inch from here to this edge up here. Let's see if I can get that to function properly. So 1 inch and 1/8. So if you just used a 2-inch bracket, then it'll just drop this down just a hair further than this. Well, I shouldn't say a hair, but 7/8 of an inch down below that beam. But that would give you the proper clearance that you're in need of if in fact this is a 10-inch height on the beam itself. So looking at the clearance below, you can see here that our clearance below is plenty of clearance below this beam. So there's no issue with regards to that. The 1 inch of trim over here might be an issue. That's why I pointed that out. You can see what I've done here is gone 18 inches from this wall to the one side of the heater, and the same with this one here. And you can see that with that trim piece, we're going to need to push that out just another inch if that's what is true. Going back to those overall dimensions, and this is a dimension that you're going to really need to look at, is the 17-foot 6-inch dimension. If it's feasible to push this out a little bit further, then we need to push everything uniformly with regards to making sure we meet all the clearances that we have here. So yeah, we're going to need to do something about that trim piece over here, or move the equipment just 1 inch further out if we have that inch to deal with. So I'm going to take off the top here and kind of mention something about the top here, and I'm going to take off these support pieces that I have here. So what I want you to see here is that this 6-foot diameter clearance zone that we're looking for, with the placement of the heaters and the 6 inches that I have here, we are meeting just perfectly the clearance to this diameter here on all heaters. So that is something that's very important, that we are going to match all of that up. So otherwise, the other thing you could do is you could take another option as far as the fan and go with a steel bladed fan. Now I looked up several different websites, and there are steel fan blades that are available, so that the clearance then would only become the clearance to the motor and things excuse me, things of that nature. But the fan blades themselves, there is no issue with regards to them when they're constructed out of a steel, aluminum, or stainless, or something of that nature. So that would be the easiest remedy for this application, is getting a fan 72-inch or the 6-foot diameter fan that had steel blades, and then you can actually not worry so much about the actual clearance as close as we are in this application. So especially here, the 17'6", you could push it in and have the heaters a little bit closer to each other, and then that clearance zone could be still met with a steel bladed fan. So in any case, let's go ahead and look at the total footprint of heat. So you can see here with total footprint of heat, these heaters are going to heat up this space very nicely. Now, again, if we could eliminate that fan blade as being a combustible material, and we can actually place these units more centrally located within this span here. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you what that would look like. We're getting a better crossover array here in the middle, and so I'm going to do the same with this over here. And this is just approximately in the center of these openings here, but that way we can get a nice crossover array, which would make this portion of the patio seating area just as comfortable as over here. So what you have is the closest spot is right here to the output of the heater. This area over here is probably another 1.5 feet further away than you would be that if you were sitting right here. But with a crossover array, you have nice complete coverage uniform throughout the whole space. You can see over here we have nice crossover arrays already, so that's not an issue. And then, you know, we can also take these two units here and just move that 1 inch over, so we're not worried about that trim piece over here. So that's, again, if we get a fan that is a steel fan blade. Now, generally fans are probably twice the cost of a non-metal fan blade, so just something to think about, but that's an overall easy fix for this whole application. So all right, well, I hope this has helped. If you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you'd like us to review your plans, again, please send that information into designs@patioheat.com. I'm Steve. Please tap that like button if you find this video useful. We don't advertise, we're not monetized. YouTube does not promote our channel in any way unless we receive a thumbs up from our viewers, and we truly appreciate that. Thank you. Have an excellent day.